We just heard an LAPD news conference on the fiery end, and we think it is the end of the manhunt for Christopher Dorner. A burned corpse recovered from this cabin where Dorner had holed up near Big Bear, east of Los Angeles. We do not have ultimate forensic confirmation that it's Dorner, but the next best thing. Police somewhat standing down, not completely, but somewhat. We also don't know how this cabin ended up catching fire. We do have some remarkable audio that was captured by one of the reporters who found himself right there in the middle of it all as it unfolded. You have got to hear this firefight.
I hear some screaming.
And as for the fire, we do know that police used smoke bombs and that Dorner apparently did as well. Here is more from our LA affiliate KCAL and the reporter who was in the middle of that, Carter Evans.
It sounds like police officials were trying to move Carter out of the area into a safer area.
CNN's Miguel Marquez joins me now live from Big Bear. Those are pretty incredible words to hear. And I just want to repeat for those who may not have seen the words on the screen, burn it down, shoot the gas, get the gas, burn the gas, burn the gas, burn the gas, and a lot of other expletives as well. Miguel, this is getting a lot of traction, and a lot of people are asking questions as to whether it's possible those deputies who responded to this may have intentionally burned Christopher Dorner inside that cabin.
Yeah, it's hard for me to add anything at this point. San Bernardino is not, Sheriff's Office is not speaking to those points at the moment. What you hear on those tapes, though, is a very rushed first blush of what went on there that afternoon. It sounds to me like they may have been saying use the gas. I understood about an hour before they actually went in that they were planning to do that. Typically, if they employ gas like that, they are trying to flush the person out. They believe that there were no hostages in that cabin, so it's not clear that they were intentionally trying to set fire to the cabin. It would be hard for me to believe that they were, but tensions were obviously very high with one officer down, and probably they knew he was dead by that time, and the other one injured badly. So it was a very, very tense afternoon up here, Ashley.
And Miguel, you know, just the notion that whenever there's a tactical operation, we in the media are used to hearing, please lay off the live locations. Please take your helicopters away for your safety, for ours, and let us do our jobs without, you know, the suspect potentially being able to track our every move. And for that reason, many of us in the press were unable to witness exactly what happened in those last moments. But were there any people who did get a first-hand view of how that fire started?
Look, there was concern among law enforcement that Mr. Dorner may have been monitoring either television, radio, both, or even the internet. They believe his phone went on at one point. It is possible they had some communication with him inside that cabin. We don't know whether or not they actually did, whether there was any offer of surrender, whether or not he wanted to come out of that cabin at any point. He certainly has left zero indication that he did, and he clearly had a deep hatred for all law enforcement, no matter where they were. I do want to take you back a little bit, though, because the other thing going on here is that San Bernardino is retracing their steps on how all of this played out. You know, last Thursday, Mr. Dorner burned his truck on a forest road right in between the ski valleys here, and then around 12:30 yesterday afternoon, those two cleaning ladies discovered him in a house. That house is about a mile, maybe a mile and a half from where his truck was burned. It may be the case that he was in that house for several days, literally right under the nose of San Bernardino Sheriff's Office, and not until these two women came in to clean this house. He stole their car. That was shot up by Fish and Game officials. Then he stole the truck. Then he crashed that. Then he fled into the woods, into that cabin, shot and killed one of those deputies, injured another, and then you saw what happened yesterday afternoon. There are a lot of questions that need to be asked and answered, and at this point by San Bernardino Sheriff's Office. Ashley?
All right, Miguel Marquez joining us live now from the Big Bear area, and joining me now on the phone is CNN contributor and former FBI Assistant Director Tom Fuentes. Tom, you were one of the first people I thought of when I heard these terms that were being used, and I just want to go over this again so everyone is absolutely clear what was recorded from the officers who were responding at that ultimate location of the fire. Burn it down, shoot the gas, get the gas, burn the gas, burn the gas, burn the gas, burn the gas. Hey, hold it, get out, get the F out. I suspect that is the reporter who is being told by the officers to get out of the way of this very dangerous situation. Tom, is anyone founded if they think that this was an intentional burning alive of the suspect?
Good morning, Ashley. I don't know, really how to respond to the recordings. Basically, you hear the confusion, you hear almost panic on the part of whoever is talking on that microphone, and that's not normal in a SWAT operation. They're highly disciplined, highly professional. There's not going to be that kind of shouting and of course terminology, burn it down and things like that. So I just don't. It doesn't fit what I'm normally used to in an operation this difficult.
Well, is there?
You wouldn't hear comments like that. So I don't know. I think that, as Miguel said, the sheriff's department's going to have a lot of questions to answer about who was making those statements on the radio and why.
And let's be really clear, there were two officers who were fired at. One of them today is dead. The other one is in the hospital having undergone surgery because of exactly what was going on inside that cabin. Is it potentially even justified that you want to take out the suspect no matter what you use, be it bullets, be it fire, be it gas? Is it possibly justified that they did intend to burn down the cabin?
Normally, I would say no, it's not justified. If he was in the process of actively shooting at those officers that moment, then they would have to return fire. But if there was any chance that he could surrender, they would have to accept his surrender. So as soon as the subject calls it off, if you will, and stops the aggressive action and wants to surrender, you have to allow that process, allow him to surrender and take him into custody. Now, in this case, when they don't see him and they don't know exactly what's going on, and we don't actually know this moment what whoever is yelling in that microphone is seeing, and I think that's the important thing here. So there could be other factors leading to this, leading to him to shout that in a way, rather than just fire bullets at that cabin. If he was firing at them at that moment for any reason, although you don't hear it in the recording, you would think you would hear gunshots in the background.
Is there something...
So I just really am at a loss to explain why, if that's an officer yelling those commands and yelling burn it down, I really don't understand why that would be the case.
All right, well, listen, I am certainly a novice when it comes to the tactical equipment that can be used in a situation like this, but I think it might have been you at one point during the live reporting referred to something called a burner. Was that you? And exactly, if it wasn't you, do you know anything about what a burner is, if it's a device that's used?
No, I didn't hear that term in the coverage yesterday, and I didn't use it. What I said was that some of the devices used in a tactical, especially when they're going to assault the location and attempt to either apprehend or, if it's hostages, rescue hostages, if they use what's termed a flashbang, which is a grenade simulator, it makes a tremendous noise. It makes a lot of smoke, and it's to disorient the subject long enough to give the tactical team a 1-second advantage while he is stunned. The other aspect is that tear gas canisters, if they're injected in there, some are not incendiary devices, but there are still some tear gas in use by SWAT teams which are an incendiary. In other words, tear gas is a misnomer. It's not a gas. It's actually little tiny particles that irritate the membranes of a human body. Those particles are made airborne by smoke. The smoke is created by the fire in the grenade. So the grenade goes in, ignites, creates smoke. The smoke carries the pepper or the irritant, if you will, to disable or at least severely cause discomfort to the subject that's inside there. So some of those devices will create a fire, some will not. I don't know what device or type of device was in use by the sheriff's SWAT team during this assault.
Which is critically important information, that there may have been tactical devices that could cause a fire, a collateral situation. But I just want to read for you a few more comments that were made by one of the officers on the scene. And I want to just get your take on whether that might make a difference, because there is definitely a different tone, a different tenor, and most of the words I can't say. So I'm going to have to make my way through this. Burn that smoke grenade out. Burn that effing house down. Gonna burn it down. Get it going right now. Effing burn this mother effer. Does that change the dynamic here, Tom?
It just sounds terrible. I'll admit that. And we don't know everything that was going on at that specific moment, and we don't know who's saying this. And I think that's the key to this, is who is yelling this out to their other officers. It's unprofessional. It's unprofessional to use language like that. I don't understand if it's tactical teams talking to each other or their commander talking to them. Those conversations should be on encrypted radio frequencies. They shouldn't be out open for widespread recording. And even if they are on encrypted channels that no one else can hear, it still sounds that the person was very excited and basically, lost their poise, lost their personal disciplinary control or self-control. And that's just not common. SWAT teams deal with these issues all the time. SWAT leaders, they practice, they train. They would have experience in dealing with this. I'm very, even though an officer's been killed, I know, and emotions are high, they're professionals and need to contain their emotions and do what they have to do professionally.
And I want to add here, I'm just getting a live note as I'm speaking with you from one of our producers, Rose Arce, who says that she overheard on the scanner the term burner being used, and it was at the same time they were also discussing green smoke. And so whatever that ends up lending to this conversation, to these questions, I think there are still a lot of questions to be answered. Tom Fuentes from Vancouver, Canada, thank you for joining us and helping us sort of sort through these very, very disturbing questions. Do appreciate it, Tom.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Stuck at sea and living in filth, it is a reality for more than 4,000 people who